The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice.
The tradition, the suspense, the race. Here's your chance to experience the Kentucky Derby firsthand. Rocket Mortgage is giving away 20 VIP trips to Churchill Downs to witness the Kentucky Derby. And one lucky winner will receive $250,000 toward a new home or pay off their mortgage. Enter today at homestretchsweepstakes.com.
No purchase necessary. 21 years or older. Ends in April 7, 2019. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Is provided by Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com.
Hey, this is Gary from Night Dreams Talk Radio. I want to welcome a new sponsor to our show, PhoenixShaving.com. I know what you're thinking, right? Oh, another disposable razor company. Well, the fact is they're not. You remember the razors that your father and his father shaved with? Did you ever notice they didn't have the embarrassing razor burn or ingrown hairs or the razor bumps after they shaved? Did you notice they were also relaxed after they were done shaving? Well, the problem is these big corporations want to sell you razor after razor after razor. Think about how much money you spend a year on razors. Or do you use electric razor? Then you're going to find out what razor burn is. So you need to check out Phoenix Shaving Starter Kits. They come complete with the soap, the brush, and a 2.5-month supply of blades. And the most important part of it, an all-metal razor, built to last generations. So, hey, you can donate it to one of your sons when they turn 18. Check out PhoenixShaving.com and tell them that Gary from Night Dream said, hey, I want one. That's PhoenixShaving.com now.
You're listening to Night Dreams Radio with Gary Anderson.
Well, hi, everybody. Tonight we have Mary Joyce, who is the editor of Sky Shifts Over Cashiers. You need to check out that website. That's skyshipsovercashiers.com. She's the editor. She runs it. I went on to her website today, and I was totally in shock. I mean, it was a lot of good reading stuff on there. Everything from UFOs, Bigfoot, to, well, the Earth's wobble and what's going on in that. Hey, hopefully we have her here right now. Hey, Mary, you there?
Hi, how you doing?
I am doing really good. How are you doing?
It's really nice. Spring has finally sprung around here.
Oh, wow. You know, it's funny. I live up in Gig Harbor, Washington, and about a week ago, we hit 90 degrees.
Are you kidding me?
No, and you know what? The warmest we've ever had and broke a record was 77. back a few years ago. Now we hit 90. So I got a funny feeling Earth changes is going on. You know, I have a little mini farm with a little fish pond, and I had some like big goatfish in it. Every year the thing was freezing solid for like a month or two during the winter. It started about 2 years ago. Well, it didn't freeze all the way. This past year, it only iced up. Strange things are going on.
Yeah, people are blind if they're not seeing at least some of it, for themselves. It's incredible. I first started to notice it when I used to live on Cocoa Beach, and I noticed the sun was getting whiter. The sun used to be more yellow, and this would have been back in the 80s. And I go, oh, my God, it is really changing. And you cannot even begin to look at the sun now because it's such an intense white.
Yeah, it is so scary. I mean, and a lot of people say, well, things aren't changing. But, the sunspot activity has been majorly changing. Earth temperatures are shifting, like on the East Coast where you're at, Midwest. I have a friend that lives out of, I can't think of the town, but not far from New Bern, North Carolina. And he has told me that it's gotten really crazy there. But then you get over, like where I'm at, the weather has been getting nicer. Where my daughter lives up in around Hemet, California, if you head north towards like Sacramento, they've been getting a lot of heavy rain in the winter, which they usually don't get because they've been under a major drought.
Yeah, it's incredible. We did a real recent posting about in fact, it went up, I think, today, about the magnetic North Pole is not only wobbling, but it has been wandering. And before 2009, it was moving at a very slow rate of about just over 6 miles per year. Then 5 years later, in 2014, it was moving at 31 miles per year. And then this year, the most recent figure I have is 55 kilometers or 34 miles per year. Now, if you start to translate that, I did the math on it, and if it's moving at a rate of 50 kilometers per year over a 10-year period, that translates in to over 300 miles. It's about the distance between Miami and St. Augustine. That's a lot of traveling. And it's affecting us. I mean, the whole United States is rotating to the north towards Siberia. We don't notice the temperature change so much because the whole Earth is warming up. But, it's affecting everything. And with the weather, it's not just one thing. We've posted some pretty incredible FAA webcam photos or weather cams, and very obviously there are I don't know what to call them. It's like a second sun. There is a planet or maybe more than one that's being seen that can be picked up now by webcams on the Earth. And some of this is trying to be blocked out by the government, but a lot of it gets through. And we've started to post that because my sense of it is it's all really speeding up now, and we can't ignore it. A few years back, I wasn't doing much of this on our website because, why scare people to death unnecessarily when you can't do much about it? But now it's getting so noticeable that we have to address it. We have to be aware of it.
Now, are we talking like Planet X?
That's one term for it. But in this one video, or I should say webcam, you can actually see more than one planet-shaped object in at least one of the pictures. And it's not lens flares. People are so quick to want to say, well, it's just the camera doing strange things. Well, we've gotten some very strange photos, and one of them, which was very unique, we actually showed it to a man who was involved with designing the Hubble telescope, and he said it was not a camera effect or a lens flare of any kind, that it was something very real out there. And when you get that kind of endorsement, that gives credibility to the fact that it's real.
Well, you know what? I hate to say it, the government wouldn't tell you something till it was too late anyway. Let's face it. Look how many asteroids come by Earth that could have hit. And they don't
Right.
tell you to the next day that, hey, one flew by at so many, miles away from Earth. Now I was reading that they said that there is another basically asteroid that is like going around the Earth like a moon. That it's been going around for a few decades now, and that's kind of interesting because that's something they should have let the people know a long time ago.
Oh, I know. And a lot of the stuff that, I've stumbled on some of this just myself by just being curious. I'd heard this term called sky fishing, and that's where you just go out and you take your camera and you start snapping in the direction of the sun, and, you don't see it with your bare eye, but when you get back and look at what you've taken, you can find objects. And in the beginning, I labeled it a blue moon effect because so often you would see this orb that would be around the sun, and it would disappear into the sun and then come back out. Sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't. But I first found that for myself in 2009 and began to find photos all over the world that shows this phenomena, and it's never stopped. And even here where I live, we had the full eclipse of the sun this past summer, and in the best picture I took of the total eclipse, you can see that faintly in that photo.
That is so scary. It's
Well, we can't be scared. I'm really not one of those who thinks the world is going to end.
I think there'll be some changes.
We need to be smarter. I think some of these people who are living on the coast where it's already flooding like the streets of Miami, just on regular days when the tide comes in. It comes up through the storm system, and it literally will flood certain streets down there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another man that I know, he grew up in one of the islands south of New Orleans, and his family owned an island. Well, the land that they owned is now waist deep in water.
that would have been bad property to own.
Oh, yeah.
Now, changing the subject totally, Bigfoot. And before we get into that, why don't you tell everybody exactly what you do?
You mean as far as this website goes?
Yeah, your website.
Okay. I have a newspaper background, if you go back far enough, and it's a field that I really, really